Hello again, everybody. Melth here, with a guest this time. I'll be co-commentating with new friend AdvanceWarrior here, who I found when he commented one of my videos, I think, a couple weeks ago.
How's it going, guys and gals? This is AdvanceWarrior here, and I came across Melth when I was searching up Advanced Wars by Web replays, because that's how I'd like to spend my time. And relatively, I do like to come across the much smaller channels, because I tend to find out that these smaller channels aren't aware of the community that exists with Advanced Wars and Advanced Wars by Web. So I dropped him a comment and I introduced him to the Discord server, which he'll probably put a link in the description below. It is open for anyone who is creating content on Advanced Wars by Web, and they can share their videos and have people come check on them if they're interested.
Yes, it's fantastic to find out there's such a big community for this old game that I hadn't even known about until a few months ago. So, we thought we'd play a match and just co-comment on it, and I took some time to pick a good map, and I thought this one looked interesting to me. I also thought I wanted to branch out. My last couple of videos I thought I'd done more or less the same strategy of kind of relying on tank aggression, ambushes, salvage an early lead, and kind of snowball that. I wanted to kind of challenge myself and try something new and just see how things work beyond what I'm familiar with. So I thought this map might encourage non-tank play. And to encourage myself further, I picked lower tier COs this time. Tier, I guess, 4 instead of my usual tier 3. Yes. So that I could, not use Lash, use somebody else. And so I went with Sammy, who, as I mentioned, I think last time, is apparently tier 4 in Fog, although she's tier 2 in Standard. But I think it's a very good map. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I look forward to showing you the strategy that I came up with for this. And what about you?
For me, I was honestly kind of surprised that that you picked this map, because obviously it looked very interesting. But then the more I looked into it, I was just like, oh man, like, not a lot of fog for this map, obviously. But I'm always up for trying something different, and the fog really did make this map very, very interesting. There's a lot of mountains and a lot of rivers and choke points that could definitely make calculations just a bit more tricky. Like you'll probably have like an easier time hiding artillery and such just coming out of nowhere. Just full of surprises if you're playing it correctly. As for my CO, I decided to pick Jake, whose simple day-to-day is that he gets a 10% attack power on planes. Might seem alright because planes are very abundant, but there's a lot of terrain around these cities where making my terrain bonus to interrupt these caps a bit tricky. And I also noticed that this map has no comm towers, which gives you plus 10% attack. And I think we discussed this, is that you said comm towers kind of like make the game a little more aggressive to your liking or something like that.
Yeah, I think I always kind of enjoyed the slower meta of Advanced Wars too, but I can see an argument for comm towers too of making the game less luck-based, because they turn a lot of those frustrating 95% damage things into guaranteed kills instead of being 50-50 kills. So I can see an argument either way.
Yeah, and the reason I picked Jake was not because of the abundance of planes, was because of his powers. With Beatdown, he gets a 20% attack boost on planes, as well as his indirects having +1 range. So if I were to have an artillery, say, right here, I could use my little power to possibly strike these two cities and interrupt the caps before I move in and finish him off with another unit. And Block Rock gives him the same indirect range bonus. It also increases his planes bonus to 40%. So you see planes on the bottom left only have 1 terrain star, but the 40% attack boost really makes attacking from planes very worth it. And let's also not forget to mention that Block Rock also gives him +2 movement on his land vehicles. The way I see Jake is that he's a stalemate breaker. Like, if you're having stalemates holding off these properties, because I kind of imagine that we would be holding off contesting some of these properties kind of like this. Had I built up a defense or a wall or something, and he's just staying back, just out of reach of my units, I can just pop my power and I'll be able to close in the gap. and get the first strikes.
Definitely. He's a scary CO that way because he's very versatile. He can use any kind of unit pretty well. I'm on the other kind of like a very specialized CO, which is why I wanted to pick this one and just try something new. Someone who's not good at tanks, so I won't use tanks this time, really. You know, Sammy is only good really with infantry and with transport units. So her infantry are phenomenal, so are her mechs. But her tanks, her battlecopters, her anti-airs, her everything basically is weak. So she relies on the infantry and on the fast transports.
Yeah, let's begin. I'm hosting the replay right now because of some technical issues, but we'll try our best.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, fairly simple infantry play, unless you want to buy a mech turn 1 and leave a base open. For anyone who's trying to figure out why people don't tend to base skip, we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, I move my infantry here, but I don't capture immediately. The reason being is because I want to get this base as soon as I can. Mm-hmm. So I just decide to just sit on the city because it's much faster to go around than try to traverse through 2 rivers and mountain.
Yeah, you can actually do it in the same number of turns, I think. Walk immediately onto the forest, then onto the mountain, then onto the factory. It's still the same number of turns. But it doesn't matter because it's the same number.
Yeah, it's the same number. Huh, I didn't think of that. All right, so you.
Yeah, I'm doing something quite different there. I'm going for the airport immediately, which I don't think is the usual build order for this map from what I've seen, but I have a secret plan that will use the airport heavily. So I want to get that as fast as possible, while the impact will be most surprising, and then play more conventionally from there. But I will also move over toward that base. I'll also just build more infantry. And that's about it for me for now.
Mm-hmm. So my turn. I obviously just go straight for this base. And as opposed to getting this airport right away, I decided to capture this because it puts some presence in the middle. And not only that, once I finish capturing this, if I have no other infantry around, I can immediately chain to the city as well. Because I want to try to get as much income as soon as I can with the least amount of resources. But you did say that you did go more conventional after capturing this airport.
Yes. Yeah, one of the airport first, then I'll go for the easy money cities after that, pretty much.
Yeah. As for this infantry, I was kind of debating whether I wanted to go for this or whether I wanted to go for this. I eventually decided to go for this because I wanted to establish a strong side. If you're not familiar with Advanced Wars by Web terms, typically a strong side, and most maps typically have a stronger side and a weaker side. Some ways people identify that is what side produces the most bases and can get the units closer to combat as soon as they can. So here there are 2 sides on this side compared to 2 bases on this side compared to 1 base on this side. So therefore, my plan was to have my stronger force down on this side and have a more defensive side over here. So I went for the city.
Mm-hmm. One thing I love about this map is it's not quite as like hard-coded that way in terms of like a strong side and a weak side. It's true. You have 2 bases on one side. That makes a big difference. But also that front is split in 2 halves, right? There's the kind of narrow gorge area between the mountains, and there's also the wider open section too. And the air units are very good in this map because they have all these mountains and rivers they can hide behind. So all those things kind of make the airport side a little bit less weak than it would usually be. And so they kind of make it a little bit more viable to fight on your weak side than it might otherwise be. But I capture things, I go for that base, as you would expect, basically. I'm similarly going for the more aggressive posture with that infantry, going to try to capture that city and then go down the cannon just like you're doing on your side. I think we both have kind of the same thought that we want to get those contested cities early and then hold on to them.
Other than this early airport capture, we were going for relatively the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So here I capture my base as soon as I can. Capture the city, and I just use the open space that I have to just capture this. Slightly center city, because I can get it in 1 turn. And I'm going out here as well. I could have gone for the airport this turn, but I wanted to establish more presence on the map by like fanning out, basically.
And I guess if you've watched my previous 2 videos, I am always a very aggressive player. I want to grab those middle properties and just get in people's face, get an income advantage, and then rely on kind of early ambushes and that income advantage to snowball and become unstoppable from there. That's my, my default playstyle. So I'm doing that this time too, just with different units, basically. Yep, go for that base, of course. Go for the obvious captures that I'm already doing. Basically, mirroring you more or less, although we don't know because, of course, we were playing with fog on. And so now here comes the interesting thing. I have only 6,000 money, which is not very much, but it is, as I calculated, exactly enough to build an infantry and a T-copter. So with that super early T-copter, the earliest it was possibly available. And I realized it would sound like I could do something pretty cool with that next turn. And maybe catch my opponent off guard, which is always the best way to catch your opponent.
As you can see here at the very bottom, transports get +1 movement. That would be her APCs, her transport copters. So, very typical captures. I decided to go here and, like I said, establish a little bit of presence towards the center. I could have gone for this back one, but if I have an infantry capturing this airport, he can take care of this city as well. And I have an extra infantry closer towards the center.
I think that's a good thought.
And here I loop around because I want to establish my strong side to be this. But looking at it now, this side here is very choky with this slightly contested property here. This base is closer to the front, so it may seem like that might be the better option, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Obviously, chain capturing, less time, less investment, still getting good value.
Yes.
And here I have this infantry capturing this airport. I could have sent it over here.
I was kind of hoping that he would get aggressive there and move the infantry over toward the east to capture things, but intelligently he went for the airport, so my plan did not work quite as well as it could have, as we'll see.
And I have 8,000. The space is occupied, so I have enough for a tank and an infantry. There's a lot of things you could probably do with this turn. I've seen Sammy players build an artillery first because she gets her artillery aren't weakened at all. But I just went for a tank. It's a very basic but also abundant fighting force to any Advanced Wars army. And some people go for recon, which I would say is fine if you want to play it safe if you're still learning this game. But yeah, this was my first time playing this map. I'm pretty sure it was for you as well.
Yes, I picked one that we both be new to.
So I just went with the safer tank, get my fighting force closer to the front.
I think that was a good choice. I've never been too impressed with early recons unless you're doing a very specific kind of harass that you know for sure you can do. Okay, so I go for the captures, of course. And then the interesting thing happens, which is I load onto that T-copter. So I've kind of moved the infantry 3 squares already, and now I'm going to move that T-copter. It's an additional 7 squares of movement, and I drop it off into a mountain, which is kind of worth extra movement too. So you can think about it, it kind of moved him like 11 squares in one turn, more or less. Like a crazy rescue drop train in Fire Emblem. And bam, I'm right in the heart of AdvanceWarrior's base here. I threaten 4 properties. A city to my left, the airport to my north, city to my right, and the city to my far right. I can see almost all of his stuff that he's got there. I can see kind of how he's been deploying out here. So I have tons of intelligence I've just gained right there. But also, I was very worried at this point, because my plan was not just to get intelligence, it was to really disrupt him here, and ideally do something silly like capture his airport. Like if he went to the airport last or something like that, or went for it first and then left it unoccupied for a while, I could now run up there and start capturing the airport, and he would be surprised to find that happening later on and be blocked off from it for a little while. Or just capture some kind of city that he left behind. Like if he'd already captured that city that his infantry is currently capturing next to me and moved on from there, or hadn't arrived at it yet, he might arrive to find it was already mine, or find me capturing it in his rear, basically. So my plan was kind of foiled, unfortunately. I got some intelligence here, I'm kind of here in his face doing things and making him worry, but I couldn't get the kind of strong start I was gambling for with that T-copter plan. So I'll have to kind of adapt from here. And I guess I did not go for the obvious capture chain there, just because I thought I will have my my airport infantry go up and grab that one instead, and that way I can push that infantry toward the Gorge city, or toward harassing your city across the river, and just kind of keep a more aggressive deployment that way.
I would say this was a good move. You're getting vision off this mountain. You can see that I have nothing here. Yeah. You already see this infantry from this scout here. So you didn't really do a chain, but I don't think you really lost anything. Maybe you could have had infantry go capture this back city, but you're getting a lot of intelligence by doing this, and you're still capturing the city regardless.
Yeah, I built a mech there because, number one, I can't afford anything else. You can see I'm kind of been behind on money compared to AdvanceWarrior. The number right now looks higher because it's been my turn and he hasn't had an even number of turns with me, but like, he's getting more income on his turns. He's getting a higher starting value because he has the initial infantry. So I'm kind of playing catch up, and I can't afford a tank. I couldn't even afford an artillery without base skipping. So I kind of had no choice but to build a mech if I wanted to have any kind of fighting force at all, which of course I do. And I also think that's a good spot for a mech, because heavy terrain there, the mech can get across the river and the mountains pretty fast.
Alright, so going back to me, I should be getting 2 additional income by capturing this, which I already have. And this base here, obviously, once you capture this base, next thing you can do is just capture this city. And here I'm moving forward, I'm trying to scout out, like, I see this here and there's just like, oh my goodness, like, holy crap, he's aggressive, what is he doing? 1 second.
Sure thing. I think AdvanceWarrior made the right move there. When I saw him do that, I was disappointed that he'd made that move because I thought that was a smart move, and now it will foil my plans once again. I was hoping he kind of, either get aggressive trying to get me off there and I get good engagements where I have the mountain and he doesn't, or he would just like redirect units to try to deal with that and just kind of be penalized trying to fight my guy in the middle of his turn. But he was smart, he was cautious, he made a good move.
Yeah, not only that, I'm getting vision, and I also have a threat to the city.
Yep, I can't capture it anymore.
Well, you can, but...
No, because you have the other infantry too, so I'll get double teamed and then killed off.
Yeah, I decided to go for this. I decided to go for this city, trying to establish center control. Obvious city capture here. I capture this airport, and yeah, here we go. Here's the interesting turn. So when you look at these 2 infantry and you look at this one city, they'll be like, okay, both of them can go capture the city in 2 turns. But now if you look at this one down here, so I do a little bit of a crisscross and make sure that I can get this city, both of these cities at approximately the same turn, instead of investing a turn to just move one.
It was a good move, and it was one I was not fully expecting, because the alternative would have been to go for both of the back cities, which you could also do both of in 2 turns, so it'd be efficient money. But it would be less aggressive, and you were playing aggressive here, which really, I think, was a good choice. I was not expecting it, because I thought I would kind of default to being the aggressive stance player by being Sammy, but you played aggressively, and it worked out pretty well for you.
And here I build an artillery to hopefully cover these cities, as well as Jake's powers synergize well with indirects.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a good decision.
And the reason I bought an artillery is because I wanted to have enough money to fill up my bases. You don't want to leave empty bases.
I agree. And kind of one converse problem I've seen some people do is sometimes they seem to feel compelled to spend all their money every single turn. And that makes a certain amount of sense. But sometimes I think it would make more sense to save a little bit of money, build something bigger next turn, and this turn just go ahead, build extra infantry. You won't regret having extra infantry. They're so useful to have, as many of them as you can get. Infantry are the key, really, I think, to most things in the Advanced Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So there, I'm making a choice there. I thought I could go for that city in the gorge now, but I think instead I'm going to get super aggressive here. I'm thinking the city in the gorge will be mine eventually, and I'm thinking that if I attack now, I'm kind of choosing between either we both get a city, I get the one in the gorge, you get that one there, or neither of us gets a city. And you know what? For me, neither of us gets a city is better than we both get a city. Because as Sammy, I am super good with infantry and mechs and kind of bad with almost everything else. So I benefit from a game where we're all kind of poor and we struggle to afford many vehicles. I want us to just kind of be fighting infantry versus infantry as much as possible, where I am strong and AdvanceWarrior is not strong. So I will kind of choose us both being poor over us both being rich every single time that I have the opportunity, basically. So go for the captures there, and I'm going to make an unusual move here. We just talked about the importance of not base skipping, as I go ahead and capture that, of course, yes. I did the obvious captures here. But I'm actually going to base skip here once, because I think for my strategy to work, I need to get as much pressure into the middle as possible. And I think I'm going to play weirdly here. I'm going to skip one base, build a battlecopter early, and just get that aggression into the middle there, where it can be very versatile. I can kind of swing from the middle to the left or the right as need demands, it'll really put AdvanceWarrior on the back foot, and it'll let me just kind of disrupt whatever he's doing, and then I can kind of switch things up from there as need be. And the odds of him having built an anti-air at this point are 1%, so I should be pretty safe.
First time I saw this, that was just like, what? It's base open, brain malfunction. I was like, what is he doing? What? Already? It's turn 6.
It's a weird move to make for sure. But my thinking also was,
But I will say, let's also consider that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I built something from that rightmost base, that I skipped this turn, what would it do? Well, it could start capturing something in 2 turns that I can already get in 3 turns without its help. Which is nice, but it's not game deciding, really. I don't feel like I'm missing out on major captures here. I feel like this base skip, it hurts. It does hurt. But it's not as bad as it could be in other circumstances where there's more things to contest on that side. I feel like I'm gonna get that stuff anyway at about the same time, even if I skip that base. Whereas that Battlecopter, if we get it out now a turn earlier, that's a whole turn of the Battlecopter being effectively invincible before anyone can build a counter, basically. That was my thinking. So here there's something a little bit odd. I've learned that you can use transports in this strange way in Advanced Warrior by Web that does not work in the actual games, where you move the thing first, and then you kind of walk your guy onto it and then unload it off of it for free. So I load onto it, then I unload it for free. In this case, I could have just moved it normally. It would have been the same thing, just load onto it, drop over there. But what I'm doing here is, I can't fight on the right side where he has more infantry. I can't capture anything, he has too many guys for me. But what I can do is scout his base and see what he's got, and just threaten to capture this city over here by my T-copter instead. And get out of range of most of his infantry so he can't fight me effectively anymore.
Well, you are getting intel, because you see my base. If you could see your opponent's production, then obviously you can plan a lot better.
Which is my thinking, yeah. Just I'm not seeing anything interesting, I'm just seeing infantry. Okay. I'm not seeing like an artillery or a tank there that would tell me something of note. But I do, as you'll see, I think several times try to just get as much vision of your bases as I can throughout this map.
Oh, yeah. I looked back at the replay before this recording, and when I saw this, I was like, "You cheeky little bastard! He knows the trick." I was just like, "Oh, okay. I ought to be a bit more cautious." Melth only has 3 games compared to my double digits something, but I did not underestimate him. I was just doing the usual, and then he's up in my face. That was just threw me off a lot, actually, because I'm like, I'm not used to seeing someone who plays like this. And the interesting thing is, when I saw this transport copter, I was like, okay, his army value with everything else is probably a lot less, because you dumped 5,000 into this.
Plus I have less money.
It's yeah, but you could have probably had a chance to build a tank a couple turns earlier, which is like a bit like 2,000 more. But I just know you have 5,000 funds that went into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my regular captures. I move my infantry down. Kind of like what you said. If you built something here, it would just probably be on this tile, and whatever happens, happens. So I move my artillery here.
I think the replay is bugging out in a way here. I think what happened first is you got ambushed, but with your infantry walking up to my infantry on the city, and then you moved the artillery up, I think is what happened. But the replay never shows that correctly.
Yeah, it looks like it did do that, yeah. So my plan here was, it covers a couple things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can cover the city if you ever got here somehow. But if I ever got control of the city, then I could capture this, and whatever you try to attack with will get hit by an artillery.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it up here for a mountain, and I try to go for something, which, looking at it now, is just so dumb of me. It's a Sammy infantry on a mountain, and I'm not on a plane, so I'm not getting my attack bonus. So this, I would say, was a bad move. Like, sorry, that's attacker. Be patient when you play Advanced Warrior. You don't always want to get the first strike. And like, see here, if I got a low roll and he gets a high roll, it's basically even. and Sammy is just empowered with 40 defense and 30 attack.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, doing this, wasn't proud of doing this move.
I thought it was pretty good, though, actually. Like, I thought when you did that was probably the right choice, given your options at the time. Because you couldn't capture anything instead. You couldn't fight anything better instead. If you walk further to my turf, you just get shredded by my guys. In any case, basically, I think my point there, and your point too, is also you ruined my infantry. So it was, I think, a good move to do that, because that guy can't do that scary Sammy capture anymore. Yeah, if he tries it, he will just get shot down and die. And yeah, you built a tank there. Yep.
Yeah, I established my strong side to be this side.
Mm-hmm. Now, I still don't know about his tank that already made it through the gorge, but I am playing cautiously a couple times here. There are several times where I thought, I'm going to get some intelligence before I move things and just scout what I can. I think that really paid off for me. And this is one of those occasions. But I'll go ahead and capture for now. Do that obvious capture too. And then there I go to scout, because I think I can't really fight across the river there. But now I see, oh wait, there's a tank. It's blocking me. Oh, this is really bad. This is the turn where I thought everything's kind of falling apart. Because my plan was to be like aggressive in the middle. Put, AdvanceWarrior on the back foot. Well, I kind of quietly capture all the stuff around the sides without, many forces there, basically. And then get an income lead and then kind of win from there. But here, because he got so aggressive too, like, I can't grab that city in the gorge. He has a tank on it, and nothing that can really fight that. He already got the other gorge too, and I can't capture that safely because there's an artillery there. So if I try to capture it, I'll just die. So I thought, this is not working super well. I've got to come up with some way to fix this problem. But for now, I've got to go for the safe money. Move my mech in where it can help reinforce my capture later on. Infantry can go up there too, because I feel like I'm not going to succeed at this thing. And now I to decide what to build. So I go for another mech there where I think I need more people who can get across the mountains. And also I know that it's the right amount of money to build an artillery over there on that left base. Oh yeah, there's something interesting here. So I think I can't really fight against all his infantry. So instead what I do is I use the T-Copter to double, boost two different people, move them around. So I use it to boost that guy into the mountain, give him kind of extra squares there, so he can now see things and keep the base revealed. And be ready to replace the injured infantry at 8 HP when he probably dies. And then I also use it to evac that 7 HP guy onto the city. So he gets to move 4 squares and get healed up, basically. Now the downside is I can't actually stop AdvanceWarrior from capturing the city that's directly below his HQ anymore. At least not easily. I don't have anything that can really interrupt that capture. And I knew that was kind of the downside of this move when I made it. And here I had a choice to make. I either shoot his artillery from the mountain, or I could move to the south mountain and shoot his infantry. And I think I made the wrong choice, but it worked out for me. I went for the artillery. I should probably have just gone for his infantry instead. But it worked out okay.
I'm gonna input something here and say that I completely disagree with either of those. I think capturing this I would have gone for this because you're getting income. Because right now you're kind of behind by 2. Looks like you'll catch up eventually, but if you capture this, you would have been on 11, and I would have been slightly behind on the income. And obviously you don't have the information, but also from my end, if I shot you and I attacked with this, what more could I do? You could say maybe that if I do have something to capture this, you have a mech to reinforce it, but then this artillery is here. So I'm not gonna say it was the best decision, but when it comes to a game like AdvanceWarrior, there's so many different possibilities that you could do, almost like chess. How there's so many different game moves that a game could have. This was just I thought it was a little crazy that you went for this because I was really expecting you to go for the capture, but in the end I think it kind of paid out because it caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm. I think in general I tried to preserve as many of my guys as I could because I felt like I was fighting far from home with very few guys, so I could not throw them away on captures that then just get undone. That theme kind of played out several times. I could have gone for capture, could have completed it, but if I did so I would have just died immediately thereafter, and that would not have been worth that infantry sacrifice for 1 or 2 turns of 1,000 gold, I think. But on the right, or on the left, I went for an artillery and I moved my battlecopter up. What I'm thinking now is the battlecopter covers most of my stuff pretty well where he is, and he can't be scouted. From any position that AdvanceWarrior can get onto, he cannot reveal that battlecopter. So I will keep it as a fun surprise to wreck his tank with, or to stop him from capturing that middle city south of his HQ. And the artillery is probably the most cost-effective counter to that tank, so we kind of just got to go for that and get it over there to block off that gorge if I can.
Yeah. Alright, so back on my turn. I see you went for this, so I was just like, oh wow, that's really surprising. So I just decided to retreat, and...
Why did you do that?
I mean...
Surprised by that.
Why did I do that? Because Well, because I'm a very paranoid player. I felt like that you probably had something in the back where if I tried to go for this capture, I would probably get decimated by something. And you were right in front of me, so I couldn't really do anything. And if I just stayed here and just like tried to defend the city, you're just going to keep hitting my artillery, and probably would have done more because it's at 8 rather than full HP. So you would think, oh, okay, 10% defense. No, it's like 10% of 80. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was if getting my artillery hit was just very bad for me. Wait, I don't remember what I did. I guess I did this just to try to rally you a bit. Be like, all right, then try to do something about this. Try to do something about the city. If you stay here, I have 2 other things that could attack this infantry on the mountain. Yes. And here I see an opportunity to try to go for this. Try to go for the city, but I can't see the battlecopter. Move my infantry up. I send this one here to try to get vision and try to get closer to capturing this. And I do see. You have some presence here, but it looks very small, so I guess I felt relatively safe to try to get this, and then maybe this. Yeah. And here I'm just moving this up to try to scout it out. I see I barely missed the battlecopter, so this was a good position.
Yep.
What you did is I can't see it. Had I seen it, I probably would have built like an anti-air or something. Mm-hmm. And here I'm just moving in to hopefully be join capping to possibly secure the city, because I saw you dealt 5, so I was just like, okay, I could just capture, get it full again, have to deal 5 as well.
Smart.
And this infantry here moves back, takes care of this empty city in the back, and I move here, staying safe on the other side of the river, because rivers have 0 defense, and it would cost extra movement to try to get to here. And next turn it would be able to capture this. Now here I slightly regret this. I prioritize my day-to-day ability to try to do something with this tank. If we were to look at the damage calculator, you have 8 HP infantry on a mountain. If I attacked on this plane, 56 to 62. If I attacked on the road, been like 51 to 57, so maybe 1 HP off. But what I end up doing with this very move is that I just push myself back on a choke point. If I moved myself out here, I would have had free space down here, free space up here, but I was also afraid of what was possibly back here. Mm-hmm. I felt like if I capture this, I'm exposed on a road with 0 defense, and whatever just comes in will just like get a very, very good value attack. So I decided to pull back, take a slightly safer, slightly stronger plane attack.
I think that makes some sense, but it was also something that played into my hands a little bit too, because I guess my main goal on that side was I want that to be my weak side. I want to kind of invest the minimum required there to hold that line forever. Like grab those bottom left cities, have a couple mechs maybe, and artillery, a couple infantry, and nothing else there. Just kind of hold the line forever at that choke point, while I kind of push ahead on the middle or the right. And so letting me choke point you there does help with that. But as you said, you'd be risking your tank getting wrecked if you moved it in further.
Yeah, and here I build a recon because I'm realizing, okay, he's got forces over here, and I am blind on this side, which is very, very close to your base. I probably was overextending putting this here, because like you do have a battlecopter here that could do something, but I just built a recon to just follow up, because like I said, sometimes building a recon after your tank isn't so bad, because now I can get that vision and plan out my turns more thoroughly. But part of me feels like that I built it a little too late. So I move my infantry down, hopefully to capturing this side, and then my turn.
So this turn I thought very hard about. On the top right side, things had gone suspiciously well for me, because that artillery that I was afraid of, that was ruining all my plans, retreated back. And the infantry that I thought would start shooting me didn't start shooting me. So I thought something is up here, but I can use this maybe. On the bottom left, I'm just, kind of in panic mode trying to fix things because I know things are falling apart. I can burst through that gap pretty fast unless I get things exactly right. So I had to think carefully about what I know you have and what I know you can't have and just kind of go from there. But captures first, move up for the obvious targets. I use that T-Copter while it's in position to just kind of get a bonus and then drive over there and drop it off because I want to see, do you have anything on that airport? And the answer is no, which is a crucial bit of intelligence because I was thinking about two things here. My battlecopter can either fly over into that city, wreck your tank, and block you off there pretty much forever. Or it can fly up and interrupt your capture. And if it flies up and interrupts your capture, it's not doing as much damage to you, but it is hurting your income. Maybe denying you that city forever if I can get more guys up there. And also, what I was thinking about is I want to lock down your airport. I want you not to be able to produce areas without them getting shot down by my battlecopters first. Because the longer I'm the one who has control of the skies, the better it is for mine not to build anti-airs until later on, pretty much. So I was hoping to kind of just make it so you couldn't build the battlecopter. So I just go for the attack here, interrupt that capture again. Over there, I decided I know you have a guy in the woods. I'm going to walk out of his range, so you can't easily fight with multiple guys. Just walk up, shred that guy. I had to reveal that I have a mech here, which I didn't want to reveal, but there's no choice. Finish that guy off, and then advance up to capture the city with my new fresh infantry. So over there, I thought I can't do anything with this infantry other than maybe block your tank, move the other guy into a position where it gives me some vision and lets me block the tank in the future, and now I can bring up the artillery this turn to make it so that choke point is terrible to get through. So I will do that now. My battlecopter, again, he's still helping out in the choke point, so he's still in a very versatile position. He's harassing infantry, he's harassing your airport, he's harassing that tank. He is a nuisance everywhere. And I knew when I moved that artillery, that position was definitely 100% safe, basically. Because I knew that you had two tanks, one of them is blocked. One, I don't know its exact position. It could be either in that forest, or it could be in the plain 2 spaces to the left of the forest. Those are the 2 worst spots it could be in, basically. Either way, I can't hit that artillery, and either way I can block it off, basically. I know he had an infantry on that mountain over there that's to the northwest of that tank, but I also know that if he pulls back his tank to bring that infantry in, then he still can't break through this turn, basically. So no matter what, I'm safe here. I can hold the line for another turn. On the right, I think Sammy's tanks are not good, but my mechs are very slow. Tanks are fast, and tanks also are not easily countered by infantry, and, I don't want my mechs getting shot up by infantry, so I gotta have a tank over there. And I can drive up that fast side that tanks can move on very quickly, while my mechs go across the heavy, terrain congested side with the rivers and the mountains. And a mech over there because I feel like I need to shore up the line against all these tanks, and that's all I can afford.
Alright, so I see that I have no vision here. I see this artillery is covering this choke point that I can't get through. And then I see this. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this was so ballsy. I thought you were so ballsy when you bought this battlecopter. And it kind of put me in a panic mode. I was just like, okay, this guy is doing things that I'm not used to. I'm a little bit panicking, because you have a very strong force in the middle. You're putting me in a predicament on this side, and on my weak side, you just wiped out all of my vision. So at this point, I was like, yeah, I really gotta start doing a lot better now. So I just moved down here, see what happened. I can see you have a mech here, which is like, well, built a mech right here, and I have a tank, and it's a Sammy mech, so obviously a huge threat. So I just decided to pull here, because I thought that if you were to try to get vision, or if you were to try to get the city, my artillery can do something. And it's at full HP, so it's going to hit hard as well. I decided to move here, hope to hopefully capture this city. And I moved my tank here. Should have realized that you... Wait, can you see this? No, you wouldn't have been able to see it.
I think I kept being able to scout the mountains, but never quite at the right time to see that tank, basically. So I was surprised when it showed up later on. It was irked that I hadn't had a chance to spot it. But you go for some captures too, it looks like. Yep, capture in the back there.
Yeah, you capture that back there. I moved my recon up. I should have foregone this little canyon area, because I was like, well, if I have enough forces, I probably could have done something. But yeah, I should have taken the longer, more freer way to hopefully have done something at that point. That was my mistake. I invested too much in this little choke point area, because I was like, well, base is in the front, base is a lot closer, it's gonna get to the action first. But you had control of it with the least amount of resources. And this infantry can't come in and attack unless I pull this back. I was hoping, hopefully, if I killed this could have gone around and this could have hit your tank. Hit your artillery with nothing else contested. This wasn't contested, so I just went with that. I think I did exactly that. Yeah, I just pulled my tank back.
Which
and
made
then,
sense.
Yeah, it's clear, so hopefully I can, funneling out units in this little canyon area. But then I realized, you know what, there's an artillery here. I'm going to try to surprise them by sending a tank on this side.
Yeah, I still thought the tank was probably hidden in the woods, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And here, I bought this battlecopter for a number of reasons. One, you have this right here, right? You could go for this airport, or you could go for the city. My battlecopter is a little stronger than yours because yours are weaker and mine are just average. So I just thought this would be something that could contest with your battlecopter here. And it would at least force you to do something here. Had I built an anti-air, you probably would have gone for this and it would have completely blocked me off from trying to go here. I would have been forced to go around here, but because of the terrain, the battlecopter can just go wherever he wants to. Yeah, battlecopter is really good on this map. So I just capture this city, and I join as I suspected. So now it's at 5. At 5, if you leave this at 5, it will capture. I start capturing this city because I want you to do something. I wanted you to invest like maybe in infantry, so that would be one less infantry I have to deal with when it comes to attacking and whatnot. And I just pull back to repair and protect the city.
And I've got to say, I think those are all really good moves. When I saw that, I thought, you're making all the moves I was hoping you would not make. This really is a problem for me. I was spread too thin. I didn't have enough guys to do everything that I needed to do, basically. I had only one infantry there that can block the pass, and that must be blocked. And that means he can't interrupt the guy capturing the city. But my other 9 HP guy needs to stop 2 people, and my battlecopter needs to stop 2 people, so I can't do everything. I can't let your battlecopter be on the loose either, it'll just... everything I'd worked for in the middle would just fall apart immediately. So I was left with no good options here, which means that you played well. So there I just go for the Gorge City. I can take that one over at least. Go for obvious captures, move up, start capturing that. So I'm a little bit delayed on that side, but it's not too bad. This is the part of the game where I knew I was kind of behind income up until now, but now's the part where I can start switching things around and start gaining back some ground from here. Because this is the part where my strategy will come into effect and I'll be able to push AdvanceWarrior off of some of his properties maybe and get my own back ones that have been delaying shortly. So here I came up with an interesting idea, I thought, of using that T-copter as like a bridge to get the guy over there to scout the base mission and see, is there an anti-air or not? And the answer is there's not an anti-air. And also this means that I can now block off that road, so my mech behind that is safe. And also, I can use the T-copter to move that mech next turn, and also, my mech now covers that infantry. So it's kind of a very good multi-purpose move there, I think, that I was pretty proud of when I did it. So yeah, I shoot the infantry, and I move up, and I could have captured, but I decided I would just shoot him, take him off the board, not let him get across the mountains, and if I try to capture, you just pull back and shoot with the tank anyway, and I would still fail, basically. So there, I couldn't finish that guy off, I just put some damage on him. Maybe that was the wrong move, not sure. I wanted to stay on that mountain though, so I could just stay, scouting the base, that's why I did that. And here is where being standing really started to hurt me. Because if I was any other CO, that would probably reduce you to about 3 HP. You'd heal up to 5, I'd be at like 8, and then you would not be able to really turn that around. But because I was Sam, you healed up to 6, and then you have your Jake Plains bonuses, so I will not really be able to win that fight ultimately. I think it was still kind of the best of the bad option moves I had available, but you building that B-copter was the choice I would hope you would not dare to make, and you made it, and so I was kind of in a bind at that point.
Let's talk about this.
Yes, yeah, so, I thought again, I could interrupt your capture if I used the infantry to shoot the 6 HP guy. But, while I said before that I would always choose as both not getting a city over as both getting a city, it's different if I'm taking cities from you. So, I'll let you get a city, but I'll take one of yours away, so I'll come out at +1, you'll come out at 0, basically, which is good for me. And I thought if I threaten to capture 3 things, you can't interrupt all of them, especially if your battlecopter injured, especially with other things kind of accounted for. But I did something very stupid here, also. And I was kicking myself over it, because I knew you had that artillery, and I knew roughly where it was. I was pretty sure it was in that wood. And I was thinking, okay, Matt, just gotta remember you're planning to move this turn. His artillery is in the wood. Don't go for that capture. Came back an hour later. Oh gee, that place looks open. I'll go for that capture. Not very smart of me. I thought it all through that. I just forgot all the thinking I'd done. Just did the dumb move anyway. Yep, B-copter down there because I think I try to build things before I need them whenever possible. I know my B-copter's going to take heavy damage and need to replace it, so I'm going to replace it now, before my battlecopter is down, so I can just keep that air superiority going. Plus, I'll be good against all the tanks I'm seeing on the left. And yeah, mechs there, because I realized like, my plan to hold that line with minimal reinforcements is not really working. You're coming through too fast. I need mechs there to deal with the tanks, and I need them, now. So, the cheapest fighting force I can muster, basically.
And so when I came back to this, I was like, oh my god, there's 4 cities all captured right in front of me. And you're Sammy, so I either have to drop you to 3 or like finish you off. So I was like, oh boy, this is a very risky turn because I am aware of this mech right here, which is in like the perfect spot if I'm going to go for either of these with the tank. So I tried to get the planes bonus to attack your copter, put you down to 3. Worked very well, but I was kind of hoping the outcome would be slightly different. I put my artillery here to interrupt that cap, and I go for this city because I know you're not going to capture it this turn if I left you alone. So you would have been forced to move off of it. Start capturing this city, capturing these 2 finally. So I'm like slightly ahead of you.
If my plan has failed, to just stop you from getting those, basically.
Yeah. And here I build another battlecopter because I'm like, all right, he's going for air superiority. I don't see anything that can contest my battlecopter, so these will be able to just fly around and just hit you around. Start capturing here. I pull back and I try to scout out because I know your artillery's here. It's just off the edge. And I see, all right, well, this is what I can deal with here. Your artillery is in an interesting spot because if I attack this infantry, it's not going to go well for me. So I just sit on the edge. I'm establishing my forces, so I'm just like, all right, here I am. Try to do something. I send this guy down here to capture this city. Send him over here to hopefully get to that city there.
And that infantry behind the tank, that was the most important guy in the whole front. That right there, that one guy collapsed my whole defense. They could not hold the line anymore. I didn't know he existed, but just the fact that he was there meant there was no good solution anymore. So good play putting him there.
All right. And here you could say that I put more value in my income than my tank. I did not want you to get this income swing. I had a battlecopter, so I just thought, all right, if I did this, then I should be all right. So you're dropped at 4. I think you still would have captured it. So
yep.
Yeah, I had to finish you off. And then I decided to weaken your mech because obviously when you're low on HP, your firepower isn't as strong. So I was hoping that had I damaged your mech, you would do a lot less with my battlecopter. Yes, it was a worse trade, but it's better than a full mech attacking my tank. My tank would have been safer though.
Yes.
It's a bit safer now. And here I just scout because I'm just like, all right, well, see what you have here, and you have nothing in the center.
Yep.
So your turn 10.
Yeah, so I feel like at this point I'm in a bit of a bind. I can capture your cities at least, so go ahead and just start capturing everything that I can. So at least I'm getting ahead on income now, I know. Because I've got 18,000, there's 36 properties on the map. I can see that a couple of them are still neutral. 2 of them, I'm standing on one of them I know you haven't finished capturing yet. So I know that at best you have, let's see, if I have 18, 3 are neutral, you have at best like I think 15,000 or so. It's saying you have 70,000, but that's not correct. So I used my 2 HP guy to just scout for that guy so I can interrupt that capture that I knew was going on there. I know you have no tank that can deal with me because I saw where your tank moved. And here I decide I'm going to go onto that city and shoot that infantry down for just maximum damage and use my mech to attack from the plane instead of from the city, keeping him safer from the infantry. So that's a good trade for me. Not as good as if I was at 10 HP because it did weaken me a lot, but it's a good trade. And then I'm going to pop onto that, use that same bridge thing basically, just pop another guy into that mountain, block it off, make it hard to attack my mechs. And then I decide, I had several different options here, but I thought I'm going to use that guy mostly as bait. I didn't count on taking a damage there. I thought I'd stay at 3, and therefore kind of tempted to use your full HP Battlecopter to finish me off, but it went down to 2, which means your 4 HP guy can definitely finish me, so that my bait would not work quite as well as intended. But I thought, okay, I'm committed now, I'll just go for finishing you off, and also it'd be hard for you to scout that infantry. You need to kind of commit a guy to just spot him in the wood. So here I made a move that only makes sense if you know that I don't have vision of that infantry. I thought, well, this can still work. If I put the artillery in that narrow spot there, put infantry to the south of him, put infantry on the city, you still can't break through. And that's true with the vehicles that I can see, and the vehicles that I know are there. But that infantry means that there is no way to hold that city anymore. You can get 2 guys to attack me, you can break through, then you can attack the artillery, and that will ruin my defense. I hide that mech, which I think is a good choice here, because I think you saw 1 mech later on, but you didn't see 2, and that helped me turn things around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think basically, you're in a good position here. I had no perfect defense available. If I tried to hold the city, I can't do it. If I pulled back, your infantry that's on your city across the river could walk forward and shoot my guy, and I would not be able to hold the line anymore. My best bet would probably been to put the artillery in his range on the road, and then put my infantry just kind of next to the city and concede the city itself, and then fire away from there. But still, you'd be breaking through at that point. My goal is to prevent you from breaking through. Just if you can't break through, you can't reinforce the center, so the center kind of stays contested. If you break through, then the center becomes your property, and I can't really get it back from you. So that's kind of the main goal I'm trying to avoid for as long as possible. Set up another bridge there, boosted across, harvesting all that free movement. And I think I need an anti-air here, because I'm sure you're building a battlecopter. My battlecopters are not cutting against yours. I've got to have something that will just turn the tide, plus I need to kill your infantry in the middle fast, and the anti-air can do that. But it is also a bad choice against your tanks there, so no, I'm living on borrowed time on that front. Having not built a tank, I can't hold the line forever.
Alright. Alright, so day 10. I'm in a bit of a predicament. I see two mechs, half damage tank, and you've kind of choked me off fairly well. So I was just like, alright, well, this was my weak side for a reason, so I'll just see if I can hopefully get something going on this left side here. So, you said this was bait. I guess I obviously took it because, I now have a copter and a half, so I'm just like, alright, so maybe I could just establish some slight air dominance here. I use my attack my recon first because it doesn't take as much damage back, as well as the planes bonus that I get.
Yep.
Infantry comes in, he can finish off that tank. So I was like, alright, now I'm open to try to deal something with your artillery here. And here I just move in. However, looking at this, I was just like, ooh, okay. Well, now he's got a 3 HP artillery that can go for this, and he has a mech right here. But I don't see this 1 mech here, so this artillery was really good bait, honestly. So I was just like, alright, well, crap. I just see 1, I was just like, not a problem. Not knowing there's 2. Knowing there's 2 now, I've been like, ooh, man. He's going to get some really good value off that side.
Mm-hmm. That was a saving grace.
So I tried to reinforce this side to because I guess I'm kind of hell bent on capturing this city so I can establish control over this little canyon area, and I moved down here in hopes to capture the city, which I see that you already have captured. But I didn't see anything, so I thought you was okay, maybe pulled back or something, or maybe it was already captured and you'd have something over here. And if not, I could just reinforce with another infantry that I throw down. Here I get trapped because I feel like I could have done something much better. I probably could have put on this mountain and scout. But if you were here, then at least a little bit of a funnel on this side. I thought this was dead, so I had to do something. I put my infantry in the woods here, and I put my artillery here because I felt like you would have been able to push through this little line that I had. But if you ever tried to go any further up, then you would get hit by an artillery. I pulled my tank back. Unfortunately, I cannot reach the city, and I didn't want to put it on this base because I want to build fresh units, obviously.
Right.
So I kind of forego that. And here I kind of decided to put it here because I felt like at this point you probably would have had an anti-air somewhere. So if I put it, and I thought it would have been somewhere over here and it would have been over here. With this being over here, it has a forest to cross through, it has a mountain to go around and a forest. So I thought this was probably the safest place for my for my copter to be. And not only that, but this also slightly messes up with your funds. So I was just like, okay, you probably have some slight income advantage. I'm gonna make sure you don't keep it in the thousands. So I pull back, form a little blockade here. So if you try to go for anything, you will get attacked. I try to repair on the city to protect it, and I see you over here. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna try to hit you down. I don't kill, unfortunately. And I'm just moving up, protecting my cities if you ever try to go for anything ambitious. And I build a fresh tank up here, hence why I forego the capture, hence why I forego the repair on this base.
Makes sense.
And I build another tank up here. I realized my mistake. I'm like, okay, trying to get through this choke point is not the best idea, so let's just go with the further tank in the back and just push out through here.
Yes, that was a pretty nasty turn. You broke through the choke point, you ruined my artillery. I realized that my left front is collapsing. I can shore it up temporarily with mechs, but mechs are vulnerable to infantry. I know you have a ton of those. So I thought, I am collapsing here. I'll scout out what you've got. Oh my gosh, there are so many infantry. I don't even see the guys to the northwest of my guy who's in the corner. So
you saw this though.
I saw that guy. So I thought now.
Yeah, this is why you don't base skip, because you can have infantry to follow up and capture along your advantage.
Mm-hmm. So I thought I have some tough choices to make this move. I can either defend my south city by just walking to the road and just shooting you or something like that, or I can forgo that city but move up and shoot this guy who can threaten my mechs otherwise. I thought I need to protect the mechs even more, so I'm going for that guy instead. Not sure it's the best choice, but that's why I did that, basically. And I thought, I didn't know you had the guy to the top left of that mountain, so I thought I had a chance. So I moved my mechs out. That was a bad move I made there, though. Objectively better, shoot the artillery first, then the mech. I just was not thinking clearly at that time. So, didn't make a big difference in numbers, but it would have been clearly smarter to do the artillery first, and then the mech. And I finish off, or severely injure that tank too, so now both your tanks get crippled. So that's a pretty good, outcome for me. Kind of stems the momentum there, but also I just have nothing left except those mechs who get shredded by your infantry. So it's not ideal. In any case, I do get some captures this turn, so now I know I'm ahead on income by a decent chunk, and I need to just kind of maintain that as long as possible to turn things around. So there, I finish off your guy because I saw you pull your artillery back, so I knew that my tank was safe to stand there, and just keep that place blocked for me later. I move on to the mountain there to see, do you have a third battlecopter before I go in and take any bait with my my own battlecopter, who I can now shoot your full HP one with? And the answer is no, so I can go right ahead and shoot if I want to. I sneaked that up where I could see that you couldn't possibly reveal it until too late, so you don't know about the anti-air. And I drive up and I just shoot that battlecopter, and now things are going okay for me again. 2 force 2 battlecopters versus 1 8 HP 1. I'm also thinking about, I need, once again, I've replaced them before I need them. On the left, I've got to have a tank to hold things along. And I'm also thinking that I must think about your CO power. I've been kind of playing around it up until now. Just make sure I'm always, 5 spaces away from your artillery instead of, 4 spaces away from it, so you can't use that and surprise me. But I'm also thinking your superpower is coming up soon, and that's really, really dangerous. That is such a flexible superpower that lets you move super fast, lets you shoot super far, all kinds of attack bonuses. I can't let you get some kind of devastating turn with that when I know that I'm not really comfortably in the lead anyway. So what I've got to do is start pulling back at this point, not let you have a good opportunity to use the superpower, kind of make you waste gauge, or make you waste your superpower on a turn where you can't do much with it. Well, until my own superpower, which takes longer to charge up, is closer to being finished. So I start pulling a lot of guys back over the next couple of moves, I think. Build infantry, so I pull that guy back to safety, trying to keep more guys alive. Pull that guy back, to like another line I know you can't really shoot very well. Drop another mech there. I wasn't sure where to put him, either in the wood or the mountain. I went with the mountain, but I'm getting a lot of value with that T-copter for sure, though. Just moving those mechs around has been hugely useful for me this mission.
Yeah. So here, I did mention that when you have this one infantry here, I probably could have attacked from the street and had control over here, but here you're doing exactly what I was afraid of, which is having units to block me off here and here. So you think the choke point ends at the city? No, you just made it a bit longer by putting this artillery and this mech here. So it was claustrophobic on this side, so I couldn't really do a whole lot here. So I just decided to not only scout, but also do some damage to your infantry. Yeah, I decided to do 2 damage to your artillery. So I was like, okay, now I don't have anything to follow up. But I do damage this mech because your mechs are obviously a threat to almost a lot of things I have here. I attack the battlecopter here to try to hopefully kill off your infantry so you don't get a lot of vision now. I move my tank up here to try to repair. Oh, I also move my tank here to stop you from capturing these properties. And I put this one here so I can have an effective, little defense spot here. I can't see how far your tank can go, but if you tried to go for anything that was over here, yeah, they would have been hit back with an artillery on a plane. So I decided to pull back. Yeah, so I decided to pull back, and I capture this city because I feel relatively safe. You could probably interrupt it, but I would get in 3 turns. Try to damage you so you wouldn't deal as much damage. I put my recon here. Your artillery, I probably should have killed your artillery. Done something different here. Maybe kill your mech, because 1 damage artillery, what is it really going to do? Mm-hmm. And so I decided to loop around and hopefully try to get some information, scout. And here I see you have a tank. So I was just like, oh boy. I'm probably overextending on this side now. I pull this up here to try to get some information. So you have infantry. Mechs are still well hidden.
Did that copter get ambushed, or did he just scout that on purpose?
I think I put it here just to protect my city.
Got it.
Yeah, because I was like, you have an infantry here. They could both capture in 2 turns if I don't interrupt them. And here I build my anti-air, because I'm like, all right, I have a battlecopter here, juicy battlecopter here for you to attack. Come get me. Mm-hmm. And I build another battlecopter. So now I have Fetsteer battlecopters. So this anti-air will be zoning your copters away from mine. So I wanted this to escort my copter and just try to gain air superiority. Move my infantry down. I don't know how I saw.
The 9 HP guy got ambushed. The replay always kind of bugs out when somebody gets ambushed.
Yeah, looks like it bugged out. All right, turn 12.
I noticed that AdvanceWarrior had to base skip 2 bases over there in the top left to afford that battlecopter and that anti-air, which didn't turn out to make a big difference, but it shows how he was getting in serious about that fight for the middle area there.
Oh yeah, because my base, my headquarters are right here. My bases are right here. I am blind, fairly blind. You have a lot of threats here, so I saw that I had a lot of infantry and a tank coming this way. So I felt that I was able to afford base skipping to get out these threats.
Mm-hmm. So this turn, I'm currently at, I think, 65,000 value to 66,000 or 67,000. So I'm still behind on value, which has been kind of the case most of this game. But I know that if I can just hold on now and not get aggressive, just hold the line, my income advantage will help catch me up from here. So I think I just need to take out the big threats there, take out the full HP infantry so they can't capture stuff. I walked over there to finish off the injured tank, just so you can't scout me. Battlecopter, I have to reveal it just to shoot that guy down because I can't have people capturing my stuff. I'm the capturer. And here, I thought you probably would have an anti-air. So this was not really like, this wasn't really me taking bait so much as I think either you have an anti-air or you don't. If you have an anti-air, I actually kind of want this. I want it to get pulled out of position to shoot my battlecopter because I have a plan to go for your HQ and I can't have the anti-air interfering with that. If you don't have an anti-air, I can just kill this thing basically for free. So either way, it was kind of like a win for my strategies at this point. So I go over there, I start dropping, because I know you've got your superpower now. I need to kind of stay out of your reach, but also mine is coming up. I can probably get it soon, so what I should do now is threaten to capture as many things as possible so you can't possibly block everything. Sucker goes up. If I was anybody else, I would have killed that thing, but I'm Sammy, so it stays alive.
Yep, that was that almost surprised me. Like I thought anti-air wrecked infantry, but turns out,
yes, it was like,
oh, you had a low roll.
Yeah, I had a low roll, but they're kind of being Sammy kind of hurts a little bit.
This is why I like comm towers, Melth.
Yep,
this is why.
I agree. They make things a little bit less luck based, but they also make it harder to Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, just 1 inch.
Just pull back, hide things. I figure I can, have an infantry just kind of be there threatening, preventing you from blocking the city. move across. I pulled the guy back because I think you probably know he's there. I don't want you scouting him and wrecking him with your tank. I better just pull him back to safety. And I'm going to use my income lead here to build my first medium tank, basically, because I can do that pretty affordably now. I know you have a lot of tanks there on the right side that you can wreck. I know you have an anti-air and artillery, and an enemy tank can beat all of those, so I think it's the best thing I can do at this point, basically. And a sacrifice infantry to slow down your capture on the left, just get that extra 2,000 difference between us for, like, one more turn. And now you've got your superpower.
At the start of this game, I actually thought about playing Adder potentially as well, because here Adder would have been super nice to have all the movement here. Like indirect range, what's this gonna hit? 2 HP infantry? Not worth. But yeah, I decided I picked Jake because I thought I would just have like an established front and just try and maybe like create stalemates and then use my power to my advantage. But no, you just sent things right in the middle, and I couldn't really build a line or a wall because you had something just like penetrating me here. But regardless, I felt like I had to do something. So of course I popped my super.
Did that tank get ambushed?
I think it did. And here I'm just capturing this. I was like, all right, I'm forcing you to do something with this city now. Just get rid of this infantry because it doesn't do anything else. And here, I feel like I probably should have put it here. Actually, no. I think the reason I put it here was because if you try to attack this tank from any angle, I would have been fine. But I feel like I would have put it here so I can damage whatever you use to interrupt this capture. So slight mistake on my end.
You also blocked the city, though. Don't forget that. You could prevent me from capturing that city if I could kill your tank and then clear it off. So I think it was a good move.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, here I put it on the safest style I could. Overkill with the planes, but it's still relatively a bit safer. And here I'm trying to like interrupt your cat because like, all right, I gotta make you reactive. I've been reactive for the most part of this game because you were right in front of my face. I have to do something to make you do other things. So I move my battlecopter here. I felt that if I had left something here, you would have a hard time killing this, but then I just realized, well, you could just go around and hit it. So this was a mistake as well. I feel like this turn was just full of mistakes. Although that movement was really nice to attack this tank, but unfortunately I was unable to attack from the plane down here. Move it around to protect my infantry. Wait, was I able to? Yeah, I probably would have been able. No, I was able to capture with this one, but I guess I just wanted a more proper defense, something a little more sturdy. Yeah, remove your mech here. Prevent you from capturing the city. Prevent you from capturing this city. I start capturing this. I move this around to try to scout and hopefully trap something. I move this down. I capture here because I have 4 cities now that I am capturing that you can see, and that would mean that you have to invest something in order to stop them from capturing, or at least interrupt a bit. Built a tank up here because I was afraid you would just victory march into this base, and then you would have 4 bases to my 2. And I just threw something on the headquarters, and I put my battlecopter here, which didn't account to much because you still would have been able to loop around and kill that one. I built a tank, protect my mech here, protect my infantry. Tank! I'm so sorry.
Infantry, tank for the tank.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so
all right.
Yeah, I think that was the turn 12, where I knew I now was going to win, because I was able to successfully make your super not really amount to much. For your tanks, you hit one tank pretty hard, but other than that, you didn't really do much with it, because I was able to kind of play around it. And I knew I threatened too many captures for you to block all of them. So here I know I had that battlecopter I could help clear the way, so I can kill off that battlecopter. That then frees up my other one to drive up there and shoot that one down. It gives me enough power to use my super, which I knew would be able to activate. And now I can capture the HQ, basically. So I just go for a couple other things. I clear that guy off. Just clear that thing off, just so I do stuff, people around here still. interrupt that. Just doing some attacks here, basically. Capture that thing. Wipe that thing out. Those are the things. The battlecopter's kind of bait for the anti-air to do that, too. Interrupt that one, too. Anti-air down there, battlecopter. Victory March is a very strong power when you have set up for it, I think.
Oh yeah, even if you didn't capture the HQ, look how much further you swung the income.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, from here on out, I should be able to just kind of win from there. But then I just went for the HQ capture, and that was that. But it was a great game. Like, I thought I was behind most of the time. Like, I was in your face, but I was behind on money and value and things like that. But I was able to kind of just pull through with superpower manipulation, and with scouting your base, I think a little bit more than you're able to scout mine helped me too.
Yeah, you can see we're kind of even on the kill-death ratio as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the entirety of your videos, but I'm just wondering if you're familiar with these features, like the menu stats and this damage calculator. Were you aware of this?
I used a damage calculator a few times, and I noticed there were actually a couple times in the map where you being Jake really made a big difference and gave you a kill that you wouldn't otherwise have gotten. So Jake was a good pick here, I think.
CO tier list. You could see that in Fog, Sammy is supposed to be the worst out of everyone else, but I didn't rely on this exactly. I knew you were experienced. I knew I didn't underestimate you. It was just, like I said, blown away when you had those when you did the base skip for the copter and you had a transport right in the middle. Yeah, you did well with what Sammy should be doing, which is be very aggressive in the early game and amount to the income advantage that you can steal. Yeah, I will say, after watching this replay and hearing this from your perspective, I feel a lot better now.
I was certainly stressed out about this game while I was playing, because I thought, you keep making all the right moves that I'm hoping you won't make, again and again and again, and it's really spoiling my plans here.
Alright, that feels good to hear, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. My YouTube channel will be in the description below. If you're also interested in Days of Ruin Online, you can find some videos there where I do have a link to the game.
Alright, great playing with you, great commenting with you. Have a great day, everyone.
Great commenting with you as well. You have my warmest regards.